Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Bible Illustrated Hands. This is the sort of videos I don't like making because I'm really out of the scope of my both knowledge and interests. I generally don't like speaking about politics. I especially don't like talking about geopolitics because we're simple human beings. I'm especially a pea-brained human being. How do I know the complexities of two nations engaged in war when there are so many stakeholders on both sides and so on and so forth? However, I simply wanted to make this video simply to share some of my thoughts with you, and I do realize that maybe a considerable number of you would disagree with parts of what I say about parts, or agree with parts of what I say. Some of you may completely agree, some of you may completely disagree, and I personally think that's fine. I'm not here to give any sort of infallible statements. I am completely opposed to war, as I would assume that a lot of you are, because no war goes nicely, There will always be a war crime, War crimes are simply a given in any such conflict, and we shouldn't be surprised by this. We do not have an army of pious Orthodox Christians fighting an army of pious Orthodox Christians. No, we simply have two sides in a war, and a minority of people there would be pious Orthodox Christians who would really, or simply even decent people who would try to evade any sort of, criminal activity as pertains to war. I am no fan of Putin. There are people who are big fans of Putin, and I completely understand why you are. I do realize that Putin opposes some of toxic forces as given by the West. However, that does not make him less of a dictator. If he were an emperor, then I would, understand, but we need to call him what he is, and he is a dictator. Some of you may like that he's a dictator. Again, this is not something that I pretend to change people's minds regarding that. However, I think that things simply need to be called what they are in reality. And I know that a lot of Orthodox Christians are not fans of democracy, so if that's your thing, I don't know. I do think that both democracy and dictatorship have their pros and cons, and this might sound like, naturally. However, I think that the ideologues of democracy often fail to realize that people in power who were elected are more than capable of utilizing propaganda against people in order to ensure their following election. And we have that in Serbia. We are democracy, but we are not. And one can honestly ask themselves, was there ever a true democracy? The old, real communism has never been tried. Was ever real democracy been tried? I don't know, I do think that we should pray for the end of hostilities. I'm no fan of praying for one side to win. There are some people who support the invasion, that say that, there have been horrific crimes against Russians in Donbas area. This is not something that I have investigated. This is not something that I know much about, that even Orthodox churches belonging to the Moscow Patriarchate have been bombed and shelled. And while I may understand, why a military intervention would occur in such a case, the very fact that there is a land invasion throughout the entire of Ukraine is not something that, again, I would support in such a case. However, this is a conflict where the hypocrisy of the West comes to its fore, because their mouths are so full of this is breaking of international law, that part is part of sovereign Ukraine. That was not something that was not the treatment that was given to Serbia in 1999, when we were bombarded for 70 days, oftentimes with weapons with depleted uranium, in order to defend literal terrorists in our southernmost province of Kosovo and Metohija. Then there was then breaking of international law was no issue. The Safety Council of the United Nations did not approve of that aggression, yet it happened. And now, when we have a logical conclusions to such approach, well, here are the hypocrites who are like all shocked, like this is the breaking of international law. As a meme page here in Serbia would say, it is better to believe in astrology than believe in international law, and this is the sad affair of things. I wish we had international law that was actually obeyed, implemented. However, this is not how things go, and this is not how things will develop, and they will never be like that, honestly. I think that this is a wake-up call for all of us, that we can always hope and pray and strive for world peace, but we need to be realistic and realize that no such thing will happen. That sadly, even when two nations are of same religion, they will still go at each other's throats. We can and should pray for peace, so spare a prayer for both the Ukrainians, the Russians, and even if I would say that Russians are aggressor in this case, as somebody wise would say, Russians will die, Ukrainians will die. In the end, politicians will shake hands, but some other won't see her son again. Some child won't see their parents again, and many children will die in this conflict. It is a sad affair of things, but this is the way of the prince of this world. And when I speak of the prince of this world, i.e. the devil, I see a similar thing that people have been saying at least since COVID, and it is like, oh, I blocked a bunch of people for their takes on Russia, on Ukraine, and this comes from both sides. People, this is a tool of Satan. Division is a tool of Satan. I mean, it is okay if you block somebody that you're not friends with on social network. However, do not do this as regards to your friends, to your family members, to clergy, even if they have bad takes. Christ did not command us to be friends with people who give only good takes. We all make lapses in judgment. That is okay. We are only people. We do not know everything. There are many shades and layers, not only to this conflict, but to every part and segment of this life. So, while you may not influence this conflict in any way, do not let this conflict influence, in a bad way at least, your real life relationship. That is ultimately how Satan will try, and his demons will try to utilize this against you, against people you love, because we are all very opinionated. Again, nothing wrong with that. However, do try to let the prince of the powers of air to sow further divisions. That is one of his major tools. I know that this video is, the serious one, but, I just wanted to share some of my thoughts regarding it, and I invite you all to also share if you have any opinions, and just please, 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 even if the person in the comment section says the worst thing that's wrong, try to be civil and see the other person for whom Christ has died as well when you reply or have a debate. Bye.